And we are live. Thank you very much for joining us for our Hangout, our console catch-up for September. My name is Rhys O'Sullivan, and I just want to say thank you for joining us. If you've just started as an InterNations consul, or if you've just started as an InterNations ambassador, a huge welcome to you. These particular Hangouts are something we do every month, particularly for consuls. But this month, normally we have a consul guest speaker joining us every month. This month our program's a little different because, as you know, it is the InterNations 8th birthday. And joining us today as our special guest is our founder and co-CEO, Malte Zeeck. Malte, happy birthday.
Thanks very much, Rhys. Good to be on your show tonight. And I'm very happy and excited to answer all your questions that you send in.
Brilliant. So over the last kind of week, we've had we put the call out to different consuls and ambassadors in our 390 communities around the world. And we basically said, if you had a chance to speak to our founder and co-CEO, what would you ask him? And we're actually blown away by the amount of questions we got, which is fantastic. So what we're going to do today is we've tried best to kind of organize your questions as best we can in terms of chronologically ordered, right through from the founding of InterNations, through to what we're doing today, but also through to things like about the vision of InterNations and what you can expect to see next. So without any further ado, let's get started. First to you, Malte, one of the questions that a lot of our consuls asked us, in particular, a couple of names coming to mind are Christine there in Paris, and also Abiek in Manila, is about how did this whole idea for InterNations come about?
Yeah, I've been asked that question quite a lot, of course, especially when I travel and visit our different communities all around the globe. And basically, I used to study business in Switzerland in the old days, together with my co-founder, Philip. And we always discussed different business ideas to one day start our own company. But after graduation, we both decided to first gain some real work experience. So while he went into consulting, I went into the television area and worked as a reporter for a couple of years. And during that time, and also before when studying, I used to live abroad myself in many different countries like Brazil or India. And I always found it very hard to get started in a new place, especially in a country like India and New Delhi, where you arrive and you don't know anyone. You feel really lost and lonely at times. And I wanted to meet up with the other foreigners in town that were somehow living in the same situation. But at that time, that was really hard. So that's a little bit how this idea was born, to create a platform on the internet that makes it really easy for people who live abroad to settle into their new hometowns. And that's a similar situation that Philip, my co-founder, experienced working as a consultant for McKinsey and Company. So that was the thing where we decided that's an idea that has a global relevance, because no matter if you come from Germany or from the UK or from the US or from any place around the world, you probably have the same issue. And no matter where you go, if you move to Buenos Aires, to Dubai, to Tokyo, you will be ending up in the same problem situation. And to solve this issue, to make life easier for expats, was the idea that that got us going, that motivated us to quit our jobs and to start InterNations.
Okay. And so closely related to that is, why do we have this albatross as our logo? What's the relevance there?
The albatross. Well, basically, we were looking for a name and a logo as well. And on the one hand, InterNations, the name, somehow transports our global mission of between the nations, moving from country to country. And the albatross is actually the bird that can fly the widest, cross the biggest distances, cross oceans and boundaries without landing. So we found it's a very good symbol for our members, expats, who frequently move around the world. And that's how the albatross at that time became our iconic bird that we also use in our logo. and on the InterNations website in different positions as well.
Okay. And then I guess once you've come up with the idea, I guess you and your co-founders come up with the idea. How did you then go from concept in order to getting it to launch?
Well, what we did is that we got together and really took an apartment in an old castle somewhere in Germany, where we basically lived for 4 months and only worked on the concept of the website. So we did this 200-page PowerPoint presentation of all the different features and design elements that the InterNations websites should have. And we created a business plan where we talked to friends that were living somewhere around the world to ask them if they were interested in this kind of service online. We drafted this plan and worked out everything in a very detailed manner. Probably nowadays we would do it a little bit differently and be even quicker than back in the old days. But that's how we went about it. We found an agency who helped us to develop the very first version of the InterNations website. And then in September, we went online. It was actually September 11th, a big coincidence, the date. We were aiming for the 1st of September, but as it's many times with IT, it takes a little bit longer than expected. So that was the day when InterNations went finally online.
Okay. And then thinking about, I mean, at the moment today, we're on the shoulder of about almost 2 million users. How did we get the first people onto the platform once you had it initially developed?
Yeah, that was quite a challenge because when we launched, we started in 237 communities. So mainly in all the big international cities around the world, but the communities were completely empty, and there's nothing more boring than an empty social network, I can tell you. So what we did is that we invited our own friends that were living somewhere abroad in different positions of the world to join our network, first in a closed beta version, and then with the launch, we open it up for everyone. But that's the way how we gathered the first, let's say 500 members or so. They would then invite their friends and they would invite their friends, and the viral mechanism finally got going. To support this, however, we also very early on decided to call out for ambassadors in our communities who were very well connected within the international community of their respective cities, whose task was it to spread the word about InterNations, to invite their friends, and to grow the network. And that had a big effect because these people were very active, very engaged. They loved the idea and they invited their friends. And so this viral mechanism even accelerated through the help of our very first ambassadors, who are mainly our friends these days.
Okay. And then, I mean, a good point to lead into this thing around ambassadors. Like today, we've got around the 800 mark of ambassadors. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, the history of the ambassador role and also the events at InterNations, how they've evolved?
Yeah, so first the ambassador was really helping us to grow the network, to spread the word. But very soon we saw that our members started to discussing in our forums, hey, why don't we meet up for a coffee? Let's go and have a beer together. So we saw that there was a big willingness to meet up in real life and not only exchanging online. So that was a good idea to listen to what our members wanted back at that time, and then to think about how can we support the physical interaction of our members in the real life. So what we did is we built our event calendar. And also we added another task to the ambassador, which was to organize one get together every month so that our members would have the chance to meet up in real life. And this became very popular. So from the first events and get togethers here in Munich, we started having get togethers in many different cities. Today, I think we have around 400, 500 events per month, all around the globe in our 390 communities. And these are organized by our ambassadors, and now up to 500, 600, 700, 800 people come to the big events in cities like London, in Dubai, in New York, in Paris, all around the globe eventually.
Mhm. I have a question about the InterNations business model. So some of our volunteers have kind of asked us, how is it that InterNations, I guess, is financed?
Well, of course, very good question. So after reaching our proof of concept to be able to reach the expats of the world that come on our platform, that are actively engaged online in our forums and also at our events, the next step was to reach the proof of the business model that we could finance the whole project also entirely through itself. So from day one on, we always had the idea to really create an added value for people who live abroad. And we strongly believe that if we deliver this value in terms of making life really easier for people, that our members would be willing to pay a fee for that. So we set up InterNations as a freemium model where the basic membership is for free. And for the premium membership fee, the Albatross membership, you can have access to additional features on the website, but also, especially offline, you can attend our events for free or at a reduced price, and you can attend all of our activities wherever you go in the world. Next to that, we also have some global advertising partners that are very interested in promoting their services that are relevant for expats, like an international health insurance or banking products that are relevant to expats on the platform. And they can do that on the one hand on a global level, or they can focus and target only one city or one country.
Okay. And I guess over the last 8 years as an organization, we've evolved quite significantly too. I mean, it sounds like it started with you and two friends or colleagues. And today it's a very different situation. I mean, maybe you can talk a little bit about how InterNations has grown as an organization too.
Yeah, that's a good point. We started with three co-founders, and today we're still two of them on board of InterNations, and have grown since then quite tremendously. We're now around 100 employees here in our offices in Munich, working in very different departments. The biggest one is our community management department, where we support our ambassadors and consuls, and these are also quite a big number, 800 ambassadors and around 4,000 consuls all around the world that are being supported from our community management department here in Munich. Then we have an editorial office that is working on writing all the guides about living in a country or moving to a country. We have our tech team, of course, that is developing the website, making sure that everything runs stable and new features are being released on a regular level. We have our public relations team, we have our marketing team, we have our business intelligence team, our HR department. And so that's how the 100 different team members from by now more than 30 different nationalities split up into different departments here at InterNations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Another really important part of the offering, as you are well aware, is is the activity groups model. And in my role, I'm lucky I get to interact with some of our, I guess we've got a tick over 4,000 consuls now in all our communities around the globe. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, how this idea of the groups model evolved and its importance, I guess, to our community?
Yeah. So with the events growing, we saw that there was a big interest of our members to meet up in real life. However, when I visited many of our different events all around the globe, then I received a lot of times the feedback, it was so nice when we were only 30 people and we would like to meet up in smaller groups as well. And maybe can we do something together in a different format? Can we not maybe go hiking together, or can we go dancing together? Or I want to share this hobby with other expats. So it was basically listening to our members on what they wanted, which made us come up with the idea of having our activity groups, a group landscape which would enable our members to share their hobbies and interests with other expats in town. And that was, I think, in 2012 that we started this feature. We tested it in 5 communities, which was quite successful, and then decided to eventually roll it out all around the world, having now more than 4,000 groups and more than 4,000 consuls being really active to organize events and activities. So that if you move to another country and you look into the InterNations event calendar, you can see that every day some kind of activity is going on that should be of interest to you, or if not today, then maybe the next day.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Malte. And I guess now I want to talk a little bit about another form of activity group, this volunteer program that we have. So we've got it currently is at 32 different volunteer groups around the world. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that particular program and what the plan for it is in the future.
Yeah. So with having close to 2 million members around the world on InterNations, that somehow all live a very privileged lifestyle, because most expats enjoy a higher education, have a better income, have a good lifestyle. We want to give something back to those who are not that fortunate. So the idea of the volunteer program is to enable our members, wherever they are in the world, to get actively involved and to support social causes. So we are already in the first 32 communities active with our volunteer groups, and there the group consuls and the members all together organize activities that support different NGOs in their respective community. For instance, here in Munich, we support refugees already for a couple of years now, and our members, they spend their time to go to the refugees, help them with the administration, help them with homework, help them teach them German, or simply do excursions. They also do goods donations. They donate money and their knowledge, of course, as well. And by doing this all around the world, and this is the vision, to have one volunteer group in every of our communities, we can have a major impact, a major social impact all around the world, and make life better, not only for expats, but also for these less fortunate.
Excellent. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about a question that we got from a consul, Despina, in Singapore. Every month we have like a different guest speaker joining us on this. And Despina joined us a couple of months ago to share some of her advice there in Singapore. She's asked a really good question. She's asked around, she's interested in connecting with other consuls, I guess, in groups similar to hers, maybe in neighboring countries or neighboring communities, just so she can learn a little bit, I guess, about, you know, what they're doing in their groups that she might be able to look at also. So maybe you can talk about, I guess, how is it that we can better connect consuls and ambassadors from different communities so they can learn from each other?
Yeah. So with the InterNations Academy that we're actually using right now, that's the idea, to enable our consuls to learn from each other, from best practices all around the globe, to share them in this facility, to make their life easier with organizing the different activities and events all around the globe. And here we're just at the very beginning with having these regular hangout sessions for consuls, for ambassadors, where we regularly invite our consuls and ambassadors to also be guest speakers on the show and to share their knowledge with the other consuls. That's something that we really want to expand. We also want to provide more learning material to everyone who is interested in improving their activities, their events, wherever they are, on what topic that is ever interesting to them. That's a good way to bring people together online, virtually, but also now live in real interactions like this one. And here we want to do more, both online and also offline in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's such a great idea. The consuls that I speak to are really keen to kind of get to meet each other and get to see a little bit about what's going on, so they can I guess do their activities a little bit differently. So I think this kind of stuff is going to be really beneficial. I want to touch a little bit. We got a lot of questions from our both consuls and ambassadors around the relaunch. So I guess over the last 12 months, we've been taking a great leap forward in a way in terms of our relaunch. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, I guess, what's been achieved so far, and then what's to come. What's to come in the relaunch?
Yeah. So right now, the short-term focus for our entire company is to relaunch our entire website. That means that we really build the entire website from scratch, from a technical perspective, and as well the front end, how our members perceive InterNations. We want to really improve the usability. We want to modernize the design, the look and feel of InterNations, and we do that feature by feature. So as most of you have noticed, a big part of that is already done, and we have a new events section, and we have a new messaging interface and how you connect with each other. Our profile is new, and there we're going step by step to release different features in a new modernized fashion. And while we do that, we make sure that we build all these features in a responsive way, meaning that if you access InterNations on your mobile device, you can then have a much better mobile user experience because the elements of these websites that are already relaunched are also mobile friendly. On top of that, we are right now in the process of developing also a native app that will serve both iOS and Android devices in the near future. And that's, of course, will again increase the mobile usability by quite a lot. In terms of status quo, we are right now in the process of launching our new start page that has already been released to our beta users and also to our ambassadors and consuls, where we want to generate some additional feedback from our consuls, tested out the new start page, which is a lot leaner now and focuses more on the main use cases that our members have when joining InterNations, to connect with other international people in their city, to meet up in real life at our events and activities and the groups that organize them, and to find relevant information both in our editorial content section as well as in our forums.
And so with regards to the relaunch, Malte, one of the things I wanted to ask was, I guess the ambassadors and consuls are such a really important stakeholder in the whole relaunch process. I mean, as they're looking at the relaunch, as features are released, if they do have feedback or if there's something they want to contribute, can they do that? And then how can they do that?
Yes, of course. And that's what the beta program is for, to participate in it and to share your feedback with us. We already received quite a lot of emails on the ongoing relaunch, which is very helpful for us, for our product team, for our developers, our engineers. Please share that with us, definitely. And we read through all of it and we evaluate it. We also conduct many user tests where we put our members or people who are not yet members but expats in front of the computer to test new features that are still in a prototype level and see if the usability really works out, if people manage to get where they want to get. All these are opportunities to share feedback with us on the ongoing relaunch.
Okay, fantastic. And so I would again stress, we received a few emails about this in terms of how you could contribute. We really do rely on our volunteer team in order to let us know what members are saying and what you think also. So please take advantage of that. Now, we've talked a little bit about the past. We've talked a little bit about the present. A lot of our volunteers have asked us, you know, what's next for InterNations? So if we look at the past 8 years, as the co-CEO and founder, what's the next 8 years look like, do you think?
Well, I talked about the short-term focus on of improving our usability online and the relaunch and our app. Of course, that's a big topic right now. If we're thinking about a little bit more long-term, we have now close to 2 million members. However, there are maybe around 50 to 60 million people out there in the world who are expatriates, who live this international lifestyle. And we want to grow. We want to have bigger communities, more active communities. We want to have the same level of activities and events in our calendars all around the globe in additional communities as well, as they are already active in cities like London, New York, Dubai, Brussels, Beijing, and so on. So we really want to grow, and we of course need your help to invite your international friends. Everyone who's moving abroad should somehow come to InterNations and experience our events, our activities, and find the relevant information that he's looking for. And at the same time, most of our members living abroad, moving abroad, have many additional needs next to finding information and meeting new friends that are very concrete about how do I move from A to B. They need a relocation company. They need additional services. They want to learn a language. They want to find an apartment. They want to find a job. They need a bank account. So we really want to make life easier for expatriates and want to address more and more of the issues that expats face when going abroad or live abroad for a longer time.
Okay. And another really good question we got is, what is it, I guess you talked about the reasons that you created InterNations, but I guess for you as a leader, what is it that motivates you and what is it that really drives you to do what you do?
Well, for me, it's really most rewarding to go to our events and activities and to talk to our members. And it's amazing to hear feedback from our members about, well, through InterNations, I have met my very best friends here in Singapore, or I have found my apartment here in Tokyo. I have found a job, and I wanted to thank you for that. I even found the love of my life, and we're getting married now. So it's very good to see how what we do on an everyday level really has a tremendous impact on people's lives. Changing it for the better in whatever aspect. That really is very rewarding, and that is the thing that drives me the most. And this is also something which is only possible through the help of our volunteers, all of you out there who organize these events, who organize these activities on a regular level, that give our members the chance to meet up in real life, to have these life-changing experiences, encounters. And I want to thank all of you for helping us making InterNations for what it is today, because without our volunteers, it wouldn't be possible to generate such a website, such a community that is also very active in real life and not only online.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think we've just about come to the end of our time, Malte, so I think that's a fantastic point to finish on. Thanks very much for joining us, Malte. Maybe we can get you to come to another one.
Yes, of course. Big fun.
Fantastic. Final point from me to all the consuls and ambassadors watching us. This particular hangout is something we do every month. As I said, normally we do have a consul guest speaker joining us. Sometimes it could be an InterNations team member. We're going to try and keep doing this just so we can give you, I guess, connect you as much as we can and give you the best, I guess, support that we possibly can give you. So follow us on Google+, follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, and watch for your invitation to the next one. But from Malte and I and all the team here, all the best with your next activities, and we'll see you next month.